Happy February, everyone. Brian Williams here with you, and today's video will be about the top 8 books that I've read from 2022. 8 because of Kobe. I may do some honorable mentions to make it 10 to make it normal, but I'm going to kick it off right now. First is one of the books that is already on my blog, How Propaganda Works by Jason Stanley. Speaking of my blog, it is right behind me. IronWillsBlog.com is where you can find that. The purple is for my teams. Once again, I do need to change this if I didn't already say it. I need to get to it, and I shall at some point. And there's another book featured on my blog on this list. It's the quickest read that I suggest everyone to read, and we'll get to that in a second. With today's list, I'm going to bring ideas or thoughts or quotes or read something that I thought is valuable and beneficial to share. So starting with this one, I'm going to go to page 31 and read something that I have highlighted. There is a commonly held view that politics is simply about power and interest, and the political vocabulary is only ever used strategically. The rhetoric of political and moral ideals is just one more weapon in a game whose object is to seize power and, along with it, the goods of society. That's a lot. And I think if you can grasp the common gist of how propaganda works, that quote in itself speaks volumes. Once again, you can find this book on my blog, so I guess that would be less of a reason for me to get more into this one. Secondly, we have Fooled by Randomness, The Hidden Role of Chance in Life and in the Markets by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I think this book will be my next blog. I was flipping through this as I was preparing for this, and I was like, there's a lot of good stuff in here that I didn't actually highlight, that I just wrote off with pen. And there's a few things in here a few quotes that I pulled out to share from this one as well. I think this is the most I have to share from this book. And I'm going to check over. So another thing, interestingly enough, when I opened this book for the first time, it brought me to a quote that said, I'm paraphrasing, "The media gets paid to capture people's attention." Propaganda, interesting, whatever. And another quote and paraphrase is, accordingly, rules have their value. We follow them not because they're the best, but because they are useful and save time and effort. Very interesting. Not to say that I'm a rule breaker, but I feel a certain type of way about rules. And the last thing I wanted to share is from page 77 in this book. We do not need to be rational and scientific when it comes to the details of our daily life, only in those that can harm us and threaten our survival. Modern life seems to invite us to do the exact opposite, become extremely realistic and intellectual when it comes to such matters as religion and personal behavior, yet as irrational as possible when it comes to matters ruled by randomness, say, portfolio or real estate investments. The thesis of this book is basically like, life is truly random and you can't predict it, and like the quote just said, you think you can, and it thinks the things that we do better at predict, we think we do better at, we don't. Side note, that noise from my computer, I have no idea how to stop it or shut it up. I have an HP. If you see this and you can help me, please help me. That would be greatly appreciated. And moving on. The Invisible Gorilla, How Our Intuition Deceives Us by Christopher Chabris and Daniel Simons. There was a study in this book where they had people pay attention to 2 sets of teams passing the ball back and forth, one in a black jersey, one in a white jersey, and they told them to pay attention to only the people in the white jersey and how many times they passed the ball or received the ball, whichever one it is. And at some point during this video, they flashed a gorilla in front of the camera for 10 seconds, and 50% of the people didn't notice it. How intuition deceives us. Check this one out. Manufacturing Consent, The Political Economy of the Mass Media by Edward Herman and Noam Chomsky. This book was published in the 80s, I believe. And it speaks about the things that America did in the Asian territory and the Latin American territories, and as far as the media goes on covering and not covering. Real interesting stuff. Obviously a long book. Check it out. Improbable Destinies, Fate, Chance, and the Future of Evolution by Jonathan B. Losos. This book was cool because you see a lot of the heritage lines, for lack of better words, because I can't think of what I'm trying to really say. But I thought it was interesting on page 31 here. It's a map or a graph, I'm sorry. But it speaks about how you would think that cacao or chocolate, I'm sorry if I didn't say that right, tea and coffee would come from the same genealogy, but they come from completely different roots. No pun intended. But check this one out as well. And the 4 Agreements was my recent post on my website. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to do the 4 Agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personal. Always do your best. And I can't think of the 3rd one, so I'm gonna check it out. Don't make assumptions. This book is powerful. I read this book in 3 hours at my day job when I work nights, so at my night job. By Don Miguel Ruiz. Please read this. If you're not a reader, check it out. I'm going to close it out really soon. The 2 books that I left out that will make 8, I believe, I didn't cover at the beginning. While We Sleep, very important. Sleeping heals us, literally. You can't catch up on sleep. So if you stayed up a whole bunch of days and hours, you can't catch it up. Be consistent with your sleep. And secondly is The Order of Time by Carlo Rovelli. Those 2 books I have out on loan. I haven't seen in a while. I want my books back. They're not going to look at this, but yeah. Those are my top 8 books of 2022. Please check them out. Hit me up. Check my website. Thank you. Peace, love, and blessings to you.